Hi. Hello, my name is Pat. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you guys my first ever book haul for 2022 for this year. So my initial plan for the year is to do book hauls every quarter, so every 3 months. Thinking that, I'll probably haul 10-15 books at a time because I'm planning on like slowing down my buying of books, but that didn't happen. I have a lot of books. I just took my thumbnail photo and it was it was a lot. It's very hard to do. So these are the books that I got this year so far. So from January to March of this year. I have gotten quite a few books in April already, so I might have to do another one in maybe a month and a half or so. I don't know. I don't want to, but when I used to do this one, I don't really include the book boxes that I got, but because my initial plan was to not get a lot of books, I was going to include all of the book boxes. So we're just gonna go through them really quickly. I did an unboxing for all of these. So starting first with the books that I didn't get from my monthly boxes. So I'm subscribed to 𝐁𝐿 𝐿, to Fairy Loot, and to Book of the Month. So these are the ones that are not included in those monthly boxes. These are the ones that I ordered myself when they made a special edition of it. So the first one is this Jade City set, Jade City, Jade War, and Jade Legacy. So I did make an unboxing for these as well because it came in with a few other items. So first book is Jade City, and then we have Jade War, and then Jade Legacy is the last book. Here they are. You can see my special edition shelf is going empty because quite a few of these are in here. And I also ordered the Madeline Miller set. So this is Song of Achilles and Circe. So it came in with this slipcase box. So we have Circe and Song of Achilles. I have read these and I love these so much. I have other editions of this. One is the 10-year anniversary edition of the Song of Achilles, and one is just the regular UK hardcover edition of Circe. So this is what that looks like. If you want more pictures of this one, I did take some photos of this. I posted pictures of this on Instagram, so if you want to see like a little bit more detail of the details here, go check it out if you want to. And then for the book boxes, the first one I have here is Year of the Reaper. So this is December Fairy Loot book. This came in January, that's why I'm including it here. This came in with another book that I've already unhauled. So that is The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. I did like the book. I received an arc of it, but it's not something that I wanted to keep or I'm planning on continuing. So this book I haven't read. This is a standalone. So, and then I have This Woven Kingdom by Ted Amafi. This is the January 𝐿 book, and it's so pretty. It's so beautiful. I have not read it. This is the first book in a series. So this is the January Fairy Loot book, Only a Monster by Vanessa Lynn. I've heard really great things about this. This is a first book in a series as well. It might just be a duology. I'm not 100% sure, but I skipped the February 𝐿 box because I wasn't sure about getting it, and I actually regret that because I really actually love the book. I received an art and I read it, and it's one of my favorite reads of this year so far, so I really regretted skipping the February 𝐿 box. But this is the February Fairy Loot box of our Daughters of the Moon Goddess, and it's so beautiful. This is the March Fairy Loot book. Here we go. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, another one of my top anticipated reads of this year. And then for Book of the Month, I did actually do very well with it because I skipped 2 of the boxes this year so far. The ones that I got during January are these 2. So the first one is The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. This is nonfiction, and I've heard a lot of really great things about this. I haven't really been a fan of John Green books. The only book that I've liked of him is The Fault in Our Stars. All of his other books I didn't really enjoy. Like I tried reading them, but I DNF'd all of them. Like Looking for Alaska, I definitely remember DNFing. And I think there was another one that is also adopted. I also DNF'd. I couldn't get past them. But again, I've heard really great things about this one, so I got it. And then I have Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. This one I also heard great things, some mixed reviews, but I'm really excited to read this one as well. I think I skipped February, and then for March I got one of my anticipated reads of this year. And that is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. This is also dual timeline, much like the other book that I read from her, which is Sundown Motel. And I've heard that this is also mystery thriller with the magical realism, and much like her other book, I think this one has like paranormal aspects to it as well, which I really enjoy. So I haven't read it, but I've heard great things about it, especially for the ones that I love the Sundown Motel. I think because I really enjoyed it, going to enjoy this one as well, because that's what I've heard so far. If you didn't enjoy Sundown Motel or you're not a big fan of it, you might not enjoy this one, but because I love the Sundown Motel, I had a feeling I might like this. So, and then the next one that I have here is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. I have read this one, and I'm really proud to say that, kind of proud to say, some of these books I have already read. Majority of them I still haven't, but this one I had an ARC. I received an ARC from Penguin Teen and I loved it so much. I pre-ordered it. I should have pre-ordered the signed one. I kind of regret not doing that, but yes, I loved it so much. It was so great. Hard to read, but it's a very important read. So 5 out of 5 stars, one of my favorite reads of this year so far. If you have not read this, it's going to be difficult to read. It's very heavy. It deals with heavy themes, but the overall theme of it with, you know, forgiveness, of love, of friendship, family is so heart-wrenching, but again, a very important read. So, oh, another one that came in, sorry, this is from the January Illumi Crate. This came in with this Woven Kingdom. This is the Ivory Key by 𝐂𝐿_𝐼𝐬. This is a first book in a series as well. Special edition, of course, but it's the paperback edition, so should include that earlier. And then I have Daughters of a Dead Empire. This is a Romanov family inspired story. From what I remember, this is If Anastasia Survived. I loved the Anastasia film growing up. When I grew up and read, you know, the real story of it, it was still something that I really was interested and fascinated about. So anything that has to do with it, I really usually, if it sounds like it, I would enjoy it. I buy it. I heard one person talk about this, and the way that she just talked about it was like, I think I'm going to like that, especially because I did enjoy watching Anastasia growing up. I haven't read it, but also the cover is very pretty, although it did come in a little bit damaged, which was a little sad. Like you can see, it's a little torn here. And then I have The Stolen Slippers, A Never After Story by Melissa de la Cruz. I actually got this one from Goodreads. I won another Goodreads giveaway. I never used to. I don't know what's so different. I've won 2 so far. I think this is either a second or third book in a middle grade series, and I joined it because Melissa de la Cruz is a Filipino author, and you know, it's one of those things I just join whatever giveaway I see because you never know if you're gonna win or not. I probably shouldn't have, but I am interested in reading this series as well because I do enjoy middle grade kind of retellings. Like this is a, you know, the classic fairy tale retellings. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I also have his The Only Good Indians. I've heard a lot of great things about that and this one as well. And I got this one very early on this year, and the texture is so different. It's very rough. Like there's something on it. I don't particularly like it. It's like touching kiwi, kind of that texture. I don't know, but yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about this one, and I've just heard a lot of great things about just the writing of Stephen Graham Jones that tells me that I'm probably going to love his books. So it's kind of like, you know, the slasher movies, but in book form, I think. But I think this one is a bit darker, a bit more grittier. I think it might have some humor in it as well, but maybe a little bit more nuanced. I don't know, but when I heard Books and Lotto talk about this one, I was like, that sounds like right up my alley. So, and the one that I got earlier this year, this is Diana, Her True Story in Her Own Words. So this is the 25th anniversary edition that says it includes new material. Now, I used to be so into the monarchy, the British Empire, the British monarchy, but learning more about it and hearing more about it and realizing what it really stands for, I've been kind of disillusioned about it, but I've always been interested in Diana. Everybody knew who she was and what she stood for and the things that she probably had gone through being part of the royal family. And, you know, as a grown-up, seeing things as a grown-up and seeing how she was. Like, she got married at 19. I couldn't even imagine getting married at 19 and marrying someone who's way older than you are, like a full-grown adult. And all the things about being in the royal and being in a relationship with this person who was pressured on marrying you too and has pressures outside of being in the family. Looking forward to reading this one because, again, this one was from her. Like, a lot of these is taken from her own, like, words. So I'm pretty sure my mom's going to enjoy reading this one as well, because honestly, it's from her that I got, like, the whole being on top of the monarchy, even when we still lived in the Philippines. But again, I'm very much disillusioned about it, but still interested in learning about Diana because I really think she's a great person. Next one is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. I wasn't planning on buying this because I already have the original copy of it, but when I found out that this was edited and there were a few things changed in the story and it came in with illustrations, I was very excited. And then I saw this on Black Walls, and this is the signed edition, so I was able to snag it. It had been like a week or so when it was released, and it came in with these two illustrations. So this is Callum Nova and then Nico De Verona by Little Chimera, which is the original artist for the first book as well. I wasn't actually a big fan of the new covers. I prefer the older cover, but seeing it in person, I can see why. I can see that I do like it. I'm not a big fan of this though. This is an irremovable sticker. Unlike this one, it's removable. These are all paperbacks now. The first one that I have here is This Is How You Speculative Time War by Max Gladstone, Amal El Motar. I've heard so many great things about this one, and I didn't think it was gonna be this short. I thought this was gonna be longer. This is how many pages? 200? Less than 200 pages. Wow. We should get to this one. I'm not a big fan of step back covers, but I prefer paperbacks over hardcovers. Anyway, again, heard many great things about this one. Heard a lot of people talk about this one. A lot of people love it. There were a few people who didn't like it, but I think it's more of the writing style or the overall narrative style of this. Could be something that some people might not enjoy, but for those who do, for those who aren't particularly have anything against the writing style and narrative style of this one, will love this one. So yeah, and Madeline Miller Bullerbit says this book has it all. I follow Drea on TikTok, and she always talks about this book. This is one of her favorite books of all time, so you know, I need to read it. So it's Amal Motar and Max Gladstone, the two authors. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just the one. Then I have For the Wolf by Anna Whitten. I got this from Target, as you can see. I haven't had a chance to remove it, but this is a paperback edition. It's one of the shorter ones. I didn't expect it to be this thick, and it's deckled edges. I don't particularly feel anything about deckled edges. They're fine with me. And it's one of those like flap thingies, paperback flap thingies. I don't know, I forgot what they're called, but again, heard really great things about this one. And it's one of those covers where you have to do the Google Lens and the cover moves or something like that, or like there's a message from the author sometimes. I haven't really tried it. I should, right? Heard a lot of really great things about this one. I think the sequel comes out this year, so I'm gonna have to wait until the paperback comes out, which is fine. You know, I have a lot of books that I need to get to, but I think this one could stand on its own. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily ends in like a cliffhanger. This is more on focusing on one sister, because in this world, if you have two daughters, one is for the wolf and one is for, I think, the kingdom, the king or the prince or something like that. It's one of those things that you have to sacrifice somebody to appease a god or something like that. Next one is Solo Leveling by Chugong. This is the 3rd volume. I do have the 4th volume, but I received that this month, so I'm gonna hold that next time. I don't have the 1st and the 2nd yet. This is a light novel. This is translated from Korean. This also has a manhwa adaptation that I've heard a lot of great things about, and I know that the novel also has a lot of fans. I've heard this might even be better than the manhwa, but the manhwa and the novels are both really great. It's kind of like fantasy sci-fi, because the characters either get transported into, or like the game that they play or the game that was very popular in Korea comes to life, kind of, and they're part of the game now in real life. And again, I heard so many great things about this. I wish a lot of Korean novels had official translations. Some of them do, but it's not like as big as this one with Solo Leveling. These are pretty expensive too. I think this one was like $15 for this paperback. Anyway, the next one that I have here is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This one I think got from Target. I didn't expect it to be this thick. I thought it would be like something like this. You know, it's pretty thick still, but not like this thick. How many pages is this? 600 pages. Oh my god. So this is the first book in the, I don't know if it's Children of Time series. It's a trilogy, if I'm remembering that correctly, but again, I heard really great things. This is sci-fi, sci-fi fantasy. I'm planning on buying all the books because I just heard a lot of great things about this one. It's First Contact with Aliens, I believe. It's one of those things, or like it's dystopian where we've traveled to space, kind of, you know. And I heard this is very dark too, so I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people love this one. Just the things that I've been hearing about this just makes me so excited for this one. And it's a winner of the Arthur C. Clarke Award. I don't know what that is, but it's a winner for the award. And then I have Twisted Date by Anna Huang. This one I also have read, and I received an ARC for this one. I was part of the ARC group where, you know, we were sent the ARC and we were part of the cover reveals as well. I was so excited for this one. This is a lot longer. I thought it was shorter, but this is like 500 pages. I got this from the author's Etsy, so this is personalized to me and is signed by the author. The same thing with the second book. I have it signed and personalized, but I'm so excited for Twisted Lies. It comes out June, so a few more months, but I love this one so much. It was so exciting. And what I really like about this series is that the books come in with playlists. So you have a playlist for, I think a lot of this are the songs that the author listened to while writing this series, and it also comes with content warnings, so you can scan the QR code to see the entire list of it, which is great. So Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. Love it. I love it so much. It is spicy, it's adult, especially this one. This has hate sex, okay? So it took me aback because I wasn't used to, you know, hate sex. So it was very intense to me. I really enjoyed it though. Really, really did. We're down to our last stack. Okay, we have Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa, translated by Philip Gabriel. I've heard so many great things about this one. I heard that it's gonna be very emotional, and then I saw Sivan from Sivan Reads crying about this, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm gonna get that. This came in a little bit dirty. I got this one from Target, and it's one of those like tiny hardcovers with the textured cover type thing. It's following the perspective of a cat. A very unique, but also a study of humanity, basically. Also a little bit scared, but I just know that I'm gonna get so much from this one. I'm gonna enjoy reading it. I'm gonna appreciate it reading this after I finish it. So I have Homebody by Rupi Kaur. One of my goals for this year is to read more poetry, and Rupi Kaur is one of the most popular poetry writers, modern poetry writers. I'm planning on reading all of her releases so far because, again, heard a lot of great things about her poetry, and it's something that especially I think millennials can relate a lot to because she's a millennial herself. She might be Gen Z though, because it says she's 21, so it's like millennial Gen Z. If you're millennial Gen Z, I feel like you can relate a lot to her writing. So really expensive. Her books are really expensive, and I understand that, you know, of course they're gonna be short, and of course they're gonna be, you know, one sitting kind of reads because they're poetry, they're very short, but you can still get a lot from them. But it's like, it's 200 pages for like, I think this is $15 for a tiny book, but it comes with illustrations, so not too mad about it. And if I'm going to really enjoy this one, I'm gonna be glad that I have the copy. So Emily Ratajkowski's My Body. I first saw this one on Book of the Month, but I didn't really get it because I wasn't really interested in reading her book, but I've heard so many great things since, and this is her debut book. It just talks about, you know, her own experiences with the modeling industry as well, and, you know, what that kind of translates to society, and, you know, how as a society functions. I actually forgot that I saw it because I saw it again on TikTok. I forgot that she was that model who carries her child and her dog really weirdly. And I remembered it because I saw a TikTok of it a few days ago, and it's like, oh yeah, that's her. That is her. Why does she carry her baby and her dog like that? Anyway, next one, we're almost done. Dating Dr. Dale by Nisha Sharma. This is another book that I've read. I read it first before I did order it, and I wanted the paperback edition because, again, I prefer paperbacks. I enjoy this one so much, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading the next books in this series because this is a companion series. I think it's like a Shakespeare something series, but the author calls it like just a Shakespeare 1 or 2 3 book, and this is number 1. This is adult. The chemistry between the two, so good. F-boy hero and our hopeless romantic heroine, opposites attract, hate to love type thing, and I really enjoyed it so much. I loved it. I'm looking forward to reading more from Nisha Sharma, honestly, because I read Radha and Jay and I really enjoyed it, and I know she has that series Takeover Effect. I think that's kind of mafia. It's adult too, so that's on my TBR as well. But again, the Shakespeare wasn't onto you. I think that's the title of the series, but this series, looking forward. I think she has another book coming out this year, which is a YA, and then the next book comes out for this one next year, and she has another YA book that comes out the next year. She's just been writing a lot, so she has two books that's coming out this year. This one is one, and then another book later this year, the YA one. And the next one is All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slatter. I heard one person talk about this, one person, and the way that they talked about this, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. So it says, long ago, Miriam O'Malley's family prospered due to a deal struck with the Mer, safety for their ships in return for a child of each generation. But for many years, the family have been unable to keep their side of the bargain and have fallen to decline. Miriam's grandmother is determined to restore their glory even at the price of Miriam's freedom. A spellbinding tale of dark family secrets, magic and witches, creatures of myth and the sea, of strong women and the men who seek to control them. So it's kind of reversed Little Mermaid kind of retelling, and the cover, it's great. And again, the way that this person, I forgot who talked about it, the way that person talked about this, I was like, that sounds like right up my alley. And this one came out 2021, March 2021. Last year, I've heard nobody talk about it. I thought this was new. I thought this was a March 2022 release. YA fantasy standalone, if I'm not mistaken. Might be adult, not 100% sure. Heaven's Official Blessing. This is volume 2. This is by Mo Shang Tongshu. I actually the first time that I talked about the first volume, the first 2 times that I talked about the first volume, I read the Chinese title as the author for some reason. I don't know why, but the Chinese title is TGCF or Tian Guan Sifu, and the author is Mo Shang Tongshu. This is very heavy. And it's also pretty expensive for a paperback. But it comes with a few illustrations. Like, I mean, just the cover itself is so pretty. And then you have this. illustration, which is the cover. And then you have this really cute one. And this also has a manhwa adaptation and an anime or animated adaptation. Again, heard so many great things about this one. There are 2 more coming out in this series, and I think that's it. So 4 volumes of this so far, and these are pretty thick. Well, they're about 400. This one is about 400 pages. Well, the story is about 380, 390 pages. Yeah, and the first volume is about this long as well. I am planning on, again, getting all 4 volumes, reading it, then reading the manhwa adaptation, and then watching the animation of this one. Because I've just heard so many great things about this one. This is dark, but this is also cute and funny and emotional. Because there's curses, there is generational love, there is reincarnation. Yes. And they're gods. So then we have Eating Animals, Jonathan Safran Foer. This one I also think I got earlier this year, January, February of this year. This one is just about being a vegetarian. Jonathan Safran Foer has been writing a lot of books about climate change, what we can do about the climate change. And this isn't one of those books that is going to like scare you and slightly threaten and pressure you into eating vegetarian or vegan. I think this is just very educational in terms of a vegetarian vegan diet and the repercussions of eating animals in general. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to tackle vegetarianism or veganism in relation to, you know, our society at large. Then finally, we have Homicide and Halo-Halo by Mia P. Manansala. I was so sad that this was not part of the Book of the Month books because I have the first book in this series in the Book of the Month edition. So, you know, and I really enjoyed this one. It is a cozy mystery, but I think the first book focused more on like the Filipino culture, which I love because I have not read a book that has that kind of focus in the Filipino culture, something that I really truly, you know, related to and saw myself in. This one came out February. I haven't read it because I've been waiting until it's warm enough for me to actually eat halo-halo because I want to eat halo-halo while reading this book or as I'm reading this book, because I did the same thing with when I read Arsenic and Adobo. I made adobo, and adobo it's a viand, you can make it all year round. Halo-halo is more of a summer dessert, really, because literally it's topped with ice. So here in Washington especially, it's cold most of the time. It's getting warmer now, but it's still spring, so like today is pretty warm, and I feel like later today it's going to be cold because it's spring, you know, it's alternating between sunny and rainy. The second book in the Tita Rose's Kitchen series. I think there's going to be 3 books in here for this series, which I'm again very excited about. So yes, that's the last book that we have. So those are all the books that I received this year so far. So I've already started editing my book haul, this book haul, and I realized I forgot to add these books. So these are the books that I read during the Koreadathon, and I got them February because Koreadathon was in March. So some of these I got February, March. So I've read all of these also. So I have Seokcho, Winter in Seokcho by Alicia Shua Discipline. This one was very short, but there's a lot of symbolisms in here, a lot of interpretations, and I feel like a lot of dissections that can be done, a lot of discussions that can be done in more of a kind of formal setting. So I read a lot of reviews on this one so that I can like fully appreciate this book for what it is. But again, I really enjoy this one. It's a lot about being a woman in Korean society, the main character's identity as French Korean, trying to find kind of the middle ground for that, but not having the chance to because of where she lives. It's set in a border town between South Korea and North Korea. Also kind of talks about the tensions between the two. And then this one, Chocolate Smile by Chen Young, kind of a classic when it comes to recommendations like Korean books that you need to read. This is a collection of short stories, mainly about relationships and how they end and our mindset during these relationships and the complicatedness sometimes of relationships as they go. I was gonna say this one as well, but I got this one years ago. But yeah, these two. Again, I already have a pretty good stack of books that I've gotten just this April alone, not counting the book boxes. So I try to keep this as short as I can. I didn't really talk about the books because it's gonna take us a long while. But yes, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one.